Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirit. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you for tuning in for another very interesting deep dive of a show this week. As in this week's episode, we're going to be discussing the topic of living a life of purpose. Also in this week's episode, we have the channeling from Spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel in order for Spirit to bring their wisdom and communications through. And then later on in the show, we have this week's energy forecast reading, which will hopefully help you navigate your way through the twists and turns of this week ahead. So without further ado, let's start our conversation today. As I say, we're going to be discussing the topic of living a life of purpose. So let's dive pretty deep with this one. Your calling. This is the itch that you need to scratch. And no matter how many times you try to ignore it or push it back, this need to fulfill something in your life keeps coming up to the surface, particularly, like I say, if you're ignoring the fact and you're trying to fit in, you're trying to be like everybody else. This is what we're talking about today. And with this being said, usually it is in connection with your natural abilities, your talents, something that you're particularly good at without any effort. Well, you will need an element of effort, obviously, to enhance it and make it thrive and grow, your talent and ability. Well, however, there is a natural, I would say, ability that you have that keeps coming to the surface. So this is what we're talking about. With this being said, with your natural gifts and abilities, this could be anything from singing, performing, dancing. You may be amazing with figures like a mathematician. You may be good at problem solving. You may be exceptionally naturally gifted where it comes to performing, like an acting skill. Or it could be something that I can really relate to, which is spiritual gifts and abilities. The ability to communicate with the other side, the world of the unseen. Whatever it is, these things will keep knocking at your door until you finally sit up, listen, take note, and understand what part of your calling it is. So, with this being said, what you will find is that there will be a lot of synchronicities that take place within your life. What I mean by this, some people call them a coincidence. I don't. I call it synchronicities, things that are meant to happen, alignments that are meant to happen in your life, where you're meant to either meet people or have a situation play out in front of you because it's part of your path, part of your calling. A lot of the time, your vibration, your energy, your frequency, because we're all unique experiences of the greatest good, the God source, the all-seeing, whatever you want to call it. We're all expressions of the same source, but we're all individual so that we can feed back our own unique expression and observation of our perspective on our timeline back to the universe, to the source energy, so that it can learn, grow, and expand, which benefits one and all. But with this being said, what you will find with these synchronicities, you'll actually attract them into your life through your vibration. Some people call them chance meetings, meeting up with people, having certain opportunities land at your doorstep, so to speak. And I want to add to that. I feel that it's like I've just been saying, it is your vibration, it's your energy, and also this is part of your life path, your story, your agreement that you've agreed to fulfill before you even incarnated into this dimension on the earth plane. So you will notice that these synchronicities will happen to you more often than not because of your vibration and because you have a purpose, a calling to fulfill on your timeline. What I was saying there about your uniqueness, your frequency, your individuality, this is the key to unlocking your true potential in your timeline within your life. Yes, you will feel slightly different to everybody else. Potentially, you may be called out on that, finger pointing, people pointing out that you do this a certain way, you behave that sort of way, you don't follow the crowd, you go off on your own, and some people find that a little bit peculiar. But your uniqueness is key, because this will allow you to tap in, if you're listening to it and if you're following it, your potential, your plan, your life plan, your calling. So don't be afraid to stand on your own and walk your walk and talk your talk. There is a reason behind why you're like that in your life. So trust that everything's going to unfold for you when it is meant. What I will say is, with your natural gifts and abilities, everyone will benefit from you taking that courage in expressing them, giving them permission, your abilities that is, to thrive, to flourish, and to be observed by as many people as possible. Now, with this, everybody benefits. It's like a flow state energy. So, like, for example, I'll use myself as an example. So, as you know, I'm a spiritual medium, and that involves teaching people how to do mediumship. It also involves giving readings and bringing forward evidential information and working on paranormal investigations and sharing wisdom. There's many facets to what I do, as I'm sure you're all aware. But what I mean by this, everybody benefits. So everybody will benefit from me taking that courage in stepping forward. Maybe I do appear a little bit strange and peculiar to quite a number of people, because what I do is not the day-to-day average job, shall we say. However, the energy, the healing, the vibration, the inspiration from spirit, the guidance from spirit, the encouragement from spirit to help other people open up and find their truth and their calling. And so by me making sacrifices and listening and following on this pathway of my purpose, lots of people benefit from that. So it's not about me. And this is what you've got to consider and think about when you're following your path. It's a fine line where you may think, oh yes, I'm doing this. Yeah, aren't I doing great? No. If you're like that, you're in your ego state. When you're following your purpose, there's a calling, there's a feeling, and there's a knowing. And also, you're doing it for the greater good of all. You're not doing it for yourself. You're not doing it to feather your own nest, so to speak. You're doing it because it helps others. It helps others, and it gives healing. It gives expansion to the universe. And you're just part of that instrument to enable that energy, that wisdom, that healing to come through. So it's not about you. It's about you becoming a tool, a vessel for this beautiful energy, this healing to come forward through. So never think that, yes, I'm doing great, it's about me, it's all this. It's not. It's about helping, healing, and empowering others. That's why you've been gifted these gifts and these abilities, these natural abilities. It's for the benefit of all. So just bear that in mind when you are considering making these changes in your life and following your purpose, your path there. With me saying this, I want to say, don't ignore it. It's so easy because life runs so very quickly nowadays and everything has to be done now. Nobody seems to have a lot of patience anymore. But I want to say, don't ignore your natural gifts and abilities, your talents and your calling. Because in my experience, the more you push it back and ignore it and try to fit in with a society or with what is considered the norm, the more that your calling will keep knocking at your door, and it will keep coming up. And potentially you may have certain situations in your life that aren't very positive, shall we say, but they have been placed in your life because you're not listening to your truth, your calling. So they stop you in your tracks so that you can reevaluate your life and make that conscious decision by yourself, because let's face it, we have the gift of free will. Only we can decide if we're going to follow our path or not. However, it will keep knocking and presenting itself to you if you are ignoring it. So although we have free will, if you're meant to be doing something, if you're meant to be living a certain lifestyle for the benefit of others, then that will keep coming forward. So make sure you're paying attention and listen, because once you acknowledge your calling, your pathway, then this is where your life becomes more interesting, weird and wonderful. This is where the synchronicities start to come in very frequently. This is where you'll get the information that you need. You'll meet the people that you need to enable you to enhance those abilities to learn, to grow and expand, so that you can flourish and be that clear channel for the wisdom, the healing, the information, the entertainment to come through, because it is a gift to everybody else. So you see where we're going with this. But in order to do this, as you can appreciate, you have to do a lot of inner work and healing. Now, what I'm saying with this is inner work and healing is where you have to reevaluate where you're at in your life, the situations that you've gone through, both mentally, emotionally, and physically. And you have to allow these circumstances to play out again like a film, a movie, and the emotions to come up to the surface. Now, as we all know, we've all been through circumstances that we do not wish to repeat again because of the trauma, because of the triggering that they caused in our life at the point of experiencing them. However, when you're becoming a clear vessel for this energy to come forward for the greatest good of all, what you will find is that you'll have to clean house, so to speak. So you have to have some periods of time where you have to do that inner work, that self-reflection. And like we say, this is where you go through periods of time. There's no short or long answer to this in terms of a time frame, how long it will take. The only thing I would say is just be here now, be present. And when a thought or emotion does rise up to the surface from your past, just allow yourself to experience it. Go through it. Go through the visualizations. Go through the memories. Go through the feelings of that. And this is your opportunity to reevaluate those situations by seeing the greatest good and elements and lessons in those experiences that you've gone through. And by reframing it in that manner, what you will be doing is you'll be releasing those heavy burdens, those old energies that have kept you stuck, that have kept you feeling frustrated. Because once the penny drops and you flip the script, so to speak, these energies will then leave your energetic body. And this will create a level of space and more positive vibration for this heightened awareness, this connection to your natural spiritual gifts and abilities that will enable you to flow with your purpose. It will enable all of this wisdom to flow through you with ease and grace, and the struggle won't be as intensified as it particularly has been in the past. So allow yourself to do that inner work, and in doing that, you will receive healing to make you a clear vessel, which enables you to connect to your natural gifts and abilities on a higher vibrational level there. Along with this, what I would say is part of the process is actually be prepared to unlearn a lot of the truths, a lot of the wisdoms. I say truth, that's probably a an incorrect word, but a lot of the information that you've learned since, childhood, shall we say. Because let's face it, we all experience throughout the course of our lives where we're listening to others, we're listening to society's belief systems, even the way that we're supposed to behave. You have to walk on the left-hand side of the road rather than the right-hand side of the road. All of these, I'm just giving examples now, all of these little things that build up over the years since we were a young child, they can fog our clarity. They can fog the way that we perceive ourselves. We may feel smaller than what we actually are. And what I mean by this is that we're encouraged to fit into society in certain roles, in a certain box, and in that sort of space, rather than looking any further than that sort of space. So as you can imagine, it can be very restrictive when we continue to have those belief systems and following certain rules and regulations that are fed through our societal system. So be prepared to unlearn things, and this can be quite a revelation when you go through this process. There'll be elements of grief when you're going through this. Obviously, you're having to unlearn these things. You're connecting with the truth, the highest vibration of what is actually really occurring. And when you do that, it can trigger quite a lot of emotions within you. Like I say, you'll be grieving the information that you're having to let go of because you had an understanding that this was the truth. I've always done this. This is how things are done. And when you connect in with the truth vibrations and you make that realization, well, actually, it's not truth. It's like a repetitive indoctrination, if we will. Then, like I say, it can be quite traumatic. So go easy on yourself whilst you're going through this process. I know we all went to school, and some of us went to college and higher education, and some of those things that we were taught in school aren't necessarily true facts. They're just repeated pieces of information that helped, I would say, society to pigeonhole us into certain boxes. And as we're talking about purpose today, we're not all meant to fit in a box. We're meant to connect in with our truth, connect in with our vibration, and share that light and wisdom that is wanting to be birthed through us by the universal energies. So be easy on yourself when you're going through this process. What you will find also when you're living a life of purpose is that your lifestyle will change. Now, what I'm talking about here, I'm not just talking about the basic things. I'm talking about everything within your lifestyle will change. Not necessarily all at once, but you will feel that inclination to change elements because they're not aligning with you anymore. You're not feeling that connection with them because it's restricting your flow in your truth, in your purpose, with the work that you have agreed to do before incarnating here onto this earth plane. So some of these lifestyle changes I'm talking about are your physical diet, the food that you consume, the drinks that you drink. Now, what you'll be noticing, a lot of these things will begin to either taste sour to you or too sweet, or you'll have a disliking to some of those foods that you felt really passionate about. You actually loved them and enjoyed them. Even with the drinks there, you'll be finding yourself turning your head away from them, whereas at one time you used to love and enjoy them. This is also because your vibration is changing. And as we know, everything has a frequency and vibration within it. And when certain foods and drinks don't match your vibration, they will cause a sense of dis-ease and disharmony within your vibration. And potentially this could make you physically ill because you're not in vibrational alignment with those things. So with this being said, pay attention to what you're naturally drawn to, and the changes within your eating and drinking habits will occur. Some of you may notice that maybe you were very connected with sweet foods. You may change that and go to more towards natural-based foods, savory foods. You could have enjoyed an alcoholic drink now and again, or a high sugared based drink, and you're finding yourself not aligning with those anymore, and you're distancing yourself from that vibration within either alcohol or sweetened drinks there as well. But also, with this being said, like I said, all aspects of your life will change when you focus and allow yourself to be following your calling, your purpose. Another thing is your health, your physical health. You'll be finding yourself being inspired to look after the physical body, the physical vessel, taking time out to do plenty of exercise, stretching, walking, swimming, maybe going to the gym or signing up to a yoga class or something like that. Whereas perhaps you didn't do this before, you'll feel this natural inclination to look after the vessel, the body. You may also observe that your social circle will change, the friends that you have in your life. Again, we mentioned earlier about frequencies, aligning with frequencies. We're all energy, we're all frequencies. Well, when you're following your calling, when you're following your pathway there'll be certain people in your life that no longer match that vibration anymore. And this is nothing to do with falling out with people, so do not misunderstand me here. It's about vibrational alignment. There's nothing personal in this whatsoever. What will occur is people will naturally drift away from your energy. No unpleasant words are said. There's nothing nasty occurring at all. It's just that you may hear less of those people, or you may feel the urge not to contact those people as frequently as you once did. Maybe touch base with them every now and again to catch up. But what you will find is that a lot of these connections that you have will start to change. And in the gaps that they create, new people, new frequencies, new energies will come in to your life. So you'll be meeting new people that align with your vibration, that empower you to tread on your pathway. Also, you'll have a disinterest in certain forms of media, such as the news. That is a prime example. You won't feel the need to watch the news, because when you're in alignment with your calling, with your purpose, you understand that the energies behind that will cloud your vision, will lower your vibration, will stop you from flowing in your true authenticity. So you'll find yourself either switching it off, not even watching any of that, and gravitating towards something that does empower you, like comedy, for example, or, films or documentaries on your particular life purpose and calling and subjects of that nature. You'll be more drawn to that. Also, you'll find yourself setting healthy boundaries within your life. What you will and what you won't accept based upon the life changes that you've had to make in order for you to thrive and shine on your pathway, following your purpose. So, for example, we mentioned food earlier and alcohol and drinks of that nature. What you will be finding is if there's locations that you're invited to go to where they frequent lots of alcohol and, there's lots of wild parties there, then a healthy boundary for yourself would be to eliminate that out of your life. And you'll find yourself not wanting to spend long periods of time in those environments. However, you're not going to be rude. If you're invited out, obviously you'll either say yes or maybe or whatever. But you will find that you will only be able to tolerate those type of environments for a short period of time. And this is you setting a healthy boundary so that your energy can't be infiltrated with these frequencies that aren't in vibrational match with you anymore. So, another healthy boundary will be seeing you actually starting to say no to people in order to hold on to your vibration, your energy, so you're not feeling drained and maybe taken advantage of with your kindness and your loving, healing vibration there. So a lot will change when you follow your path. With saying this, though, you will have a new level of respect for yourself. maybe prior to following your truth, walking your life purpose there, you had, shall we say, an energy of mistrust, of unrest, of maybe vulnerability that people could spot a mile off, and they took advantage of that. Maybe this could be your generosity of your time, your spirits, your resources, for example. People can spot that, and they can use you in that respect. When you do fall into alignment with your calling, your path, like I say, you'll have this new level of respect for yourself. Go in alignment with setting boundaries, where you will observe that that's the way that you used to be. However, because you are following your truth, your life's calling, you now know that you're not that person anymore. And in order to hold on to that new vibration that you are, you've set these boundaries, healthy boundaries, where you respect yourself a little bit more by saying no and owning your truth, owning your power in doing that. I've got to say, trust the process. It can be a little bit intimidating at times, particularly if you're on a need-to-know basis from the energy that's coming in from the universe. Because what I find is that the universe doesn't want to tell you too much, because if they were to do that, you would say, oh no, I don't want to do that. I can't see myself doing that. Whereas if they give it you in incremental steps, you're more inclined to follow your truth and walk in your pathway there. So trust the process. The sacrifices that you have made in terms of your lifestyle changes, they will be worth it. They will be worth it. So hang on and have faith and have patience in this process. Living in alignment as well. What you will find is when you're living in alignment, things will come to you. The information that you need, the resources that you need, whether that is financial, whether that is support from other people, whatever the circumstances happen to be, what you will find is that when you are in alignment with your calling, your path, everything that you need will find its way to you. And in my experience, you can be pushed right to the wire in terms of you holding that trust, holding that faith in your vibration, that it's going to come in at the exact time, at the exact same place that you need it. So you will be tested. It won't be just given to you straight away. You will be tested with your faith, with your patience. But with saying this, you will be rewarded of receiving everything that you need in order for you to thrive on your purpose with your timeline there. One thing I'd like to share is one of the examples when I was young. I was 18 when I became fully aware of my spiritual gifts and abilities. It happened incrementally before that period in my life. However, I wasn't particularly available to recognize it until I was 18. When I did recognize it, there was a level of excitement with the spiritual gifts and abilities. As you can imagine, wow, I can do this, I can hear this, I can see this, I'm experiencing this. And it was overwhelming, to be honest, all of these things at the same time. And of course, I was excitable. I told friends and family, and they, back in the day, in the early 90s, it was kind of a little bit of a taboo subject. It was frowned upon. And in many respects, it can be like that today, but not as bad as it was back in the 90s. But having said this, I got ridiculed quite a lot. I got the finger pointed at me, and I took it for so long. But being an 18-year-old, I wasn't emotionally, mentally, physically able to cope with all of that all at the same time. So I would push those abilities away and ignore them, and try to live a normal life, as what I would perceive as a normal life as possible, to fit into to society. And what I was finding is, even though I was pushing, my natural gifts and abilities to one side, my purpose, it kept knocking at my door, it kept coming back. And there'd be situations and circumstances that may appear at face value quite negative, quite low vibrational, that kind of placed me in a position of a crossroads within my life, where I had to make an alternative set of choices. And part of one of those choices was connecting with my truth, my authenticity, my purpose. But because I'd experienced that situation in my late teens, I often pushed it to one side again, ignoring it. And this kept happening and happening and happening until eventually it was getting too loud. All of these circumstances were occurring. Everything was pointing in this direction of me following my purpose, my truth, where I couldn't ignore it anymore. And I opened up to the universe. And I just basically said, okay, I can hear you. What would you like me to do? And from that moment onwards, that's when my life changed. And this is where I began to tread on that pathway of living a life of purpose. It wasn't an easy ride, as you can imagine. It happened incrementally. There was lots of mental, emotional, physical lessons to be learned. But all of those lessons helped to shape me as an individual and help me on my pathway with my purpose that I am doing today. So I hope you found this discussion and this talk very helpful. And if anything, I hope it's inspired you to take that courage, to be brave and to listen, observe where you're at in your life and to make sense of your natural gifts and abilities and why have you got them. There will be a reason, and 9 times out of 10, it's to serve, it's to help others, it's to empower others, to give healing, inspiration to others. It's not necessarily about yourself. You are a vessel. You are an instrument of change, of healing. So when you feel those inclinations that you need to be doing a certain thing in your life that is your service, then I would suggest to make life easier for yourself to listen and answer that call. We're now going to move into the next segment of the show, which is this week's channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their communications and wisdoms through. But before I do that, I just want to check in with everybody to make sure that you're all doing okay, you're all staying high vibrational, and you're all listening to that beautiful calling from your heart, rather than allowing your head to govern your way forward. As we know, when we connect in with the feeling vibrations, this leads us on a beautiful pathway of truth and of love and of light. And talking about that, this is something that I did recently. I've just recently come back from Glastonbury in England, and I was feeling that urge to go and visit. I was working down there as well on a paranormal event. So whilst I was there, I thought, you know what? It would pay me to go and visit Glastonbury. And the first thing that I felt inspired to visit in Glastonbury was the Tor. As I'm sure many of you know about the Tor and its origins and its history, I won't bore you with that. But what I will say is that the energy and the vibration has changed. And so I felt very inclined to go to the Tor, and I did. And the walk up to the Tor, I mean, you have to walk up this huge, it's almost like a mound of earth, really. It's huge, and it takes the wind out your sails as you're walking up that Tor. So in many respects, it is quite a pilgrimage. To follow that calling in your heart and to battle against all of these physical ailments as you're walking up there and making your way to the top. But upon getting to the top there, it was absolutely incredible. There was quite a lot of tourists there, as you can probably imagine. It's very popular. But the energies, I was there 2 years ago, and the energies have changed since there in that location. I happened to just feel like I needed to sit and embody those frequencies, those energies there that had changed. And as I did so, I felt, though, the beautiful tingling sensation right from my head, going through my physical body, through my torso, and right out of my feet. And I just felt this loop of this cycle of energy there, moving through me, generating me, and making me feel a lot more empowered, connecting with the truth of who I am. And I'll be quite honest, I could have sat there all day just basking in that energy. But unfortunately, at the time, I had quite a lot of timelines to schedule, shall we say, to meet on that day. So I had a quick walk around Glastonbury after going to the Tor, and that was incredible. there's the weird and the wonderful there. If you've never been to Glastonbury, I'd certainly recommend doing so. It's an eye opener, and it's an energetic opener as well there. Some beautiful shops, nice people there. So I had a look around there, but it was fantastic. I was just checking base with everybody that's listening to see if you're following your heart and where are you inspired and called to visit, because your soul will be wanting you to go there for a specific reason. In my case, I feel as though I received some energetic upgrades as a part of going up to the tour and just basking and bathing in that beautiful new vibration that has been created there. So, as I say, we're going to move on to the next segment of this week's show, which is the channeling, which sees me becoming a vessel for Spirit to bring their wisdom and communications through. So sit back, relax, and enjoy all of this beautiful information from Spirit.
There's a lot of changes happening on the Earth plane, as you're all witnessing at this moment in time. There's a lot of confusion, a lot of frustration and anger, and all of these old energies that are rising to the surface, so that you can see the truth of the situation for what it is. Now, for a lot of you, it's causing great concern. It's triggering you, and it's making a lot of people in society feel unlistened to, frustrated, angry. And we say that this is only a portion of your society. Those of you that are staying grounded and connected with nature and showing yourself love and appreciation, rather than living in fear and being drawn into that fear-based vibration, we say that those of you that are connecting to your truth, these triggers will not occur within you. However, you will be observers and you will be healers of the earth. You will be bringing forward new ways of being and living and appreciating all is and what is really occurring, this transmutation in your civilization, where new groups and societies are going to be formed out of the ashes of these events that you are all witnessing. It's not just localized. You must understand this is happening on a global situation, and it will manifest in various ways. Currently, it's manifesting in people having gatherings about the disputes, about the things that they're witnessing, that they're not particularly aligned with. So they're expressing their anger and frustration through these vehicles. And this will happen, like we say, globally. So just be aware. Those of you that are of a sensitive nature won't be drawn to these vibrations. You will seek solace in nature, and you'll find yourself having time away from it all, having time away from social media, having time away from also news and the media and things of that nature. You will find yourself creating your own forms of entertainment. This will also help you to connect with your truth, your inner truth. And with you connecting to that, you will be inspired to form societies and groups that match your very own vibration. There will be lots of these societies and groups forming, people coming together, making their own collective decisions and creating a society in which they feel blessed to be a part of. So see this as a major stepping stone for these trans-communications and transcending situations occurring. What we will advise you all to do during these times of unrest is to start, as we've said already, to show yourself that love and appreciation for all you are and what you do. There will be many that do not show that level of love and appreciation to you because your vibration is that of a higher vibration, and it will cause them to feel and experience the triggers within them, as your vibration will will out all of the untruths of what have been laying dormant within them, both mentally, emotionally, physically, and energetically. So do not take this personally. If people find themselves moving away from your vibration, this is simply a mismatch of vibrational alignment. And we say that this is actually a blessing in disguise. These individuals will find their own pathway in order to find their own way of healing and releasing some of these energies. In the meantime, do not judge them, do not point the finger at them. Instead, send them unconditional love and healing and gratitude. That way you will be also heightening your vibration as you will be healing theirs at the same time. Now, we understand that there's still a lot of frustration because a lot of you will be feeling some of these vibrational heightenings within your current reality. What we're talking about is some of these physical phenomena, such as your ears ringing, feeling dizzy, feeling sick, feeling the need to remove yourself from people and have time alone to yourself. We say that this is part of the ascension system and that you have nothing to fear or worry about. Just allow yourself to go through it rather than dodge it and avoid it. We advise you to rest, relax, and feel the transmuting energy lift your spirits, lift your vibration, and give you the inspiration in which you need in order to flow and move forward on your trajectory timeline. We're also wanting to give you instructions that a lot of you will be witnessing other realities in your own reality. We're talking about timelines, crossing of timelines, and then the phasing in and out of various timelines, various dimensions, when you're in your present moment reality. This will defy any logic that you've been taught ever since you were a youngster. However, we assure you that most of you that are staying in that vibration of love and light will find yourself dipping in and out of various dimensions. And you will notice the obvious changes because, as we say, it will defy your logic in terms of that's not possible, this is not possible. We say to you, don't be afraid, don't be frightened. Just go with that frequency, that new change, and you'll notice that your pathway will unfold in miraculous ways to that of a higher vibration where you'll get the love, the support, the financial support, and everything that you need in order to exist and thrive in your timeline. So we hope this has given you something to think about and understand that everything's going to be placed into a period of balance and realignment, and that you will be guided if you listen to the wisdom of your heart and focus in on the breath work and give yourself that time back that you give so often to others. So we send you our love, healing and blessings, and we look forward to communicating with you in the near future. Goodbye for now.
Again, once more, fascinating channeling there from the world of spirit. It was nice to have that heads up with the changes that are happening around the planet at this moment in time, and I'm sure many of you have been feeling them, sensing them, and also witnessing them on some level there. But it was nice to hear the reason for this is these old emotions, these old energies that are no longer serving us as a collective are rising up to the surface. So these truth vibrations are being amplified so that we can actually see the whole picture, the whole story that is happening there as they're coming up to the surface. Also to hear that wisdom to stay grounded and centered and connected to nature will help us as we as a collective go through these changes. And also these new societies that will be formed on the back of this transformational process. So people coming together in a positive way and creating their own experiences rather than following the governing ones, if that makes sense. So that was encouraging to hear that we're all going to find our soul tribe on some level, or at least create our very own soul tribes, and just feeling that vibe there. Obviously, these global changes that are occurring, it can it can split, can't it? So we can feel that love or that fear vibration. And it's down to our own personal choice which sort of camp we want to follow. So that was encouraging. Feeling inspired as well as we move through these vibrations, particularly when we connect with nature and allow ourselves just to distance ourselves from anything that's not aligning with us there as well. So connecting with your soul and listening to it as well will also attract your vibrational soul tribe to you, the vibrations that align with you. Showing love and appreciation to yourself. Now, I'm sure on some level we all do that, but it's Spirit are encouraging us to actually get to the depths of that and actually give ourselves that pat on the back and appreciation that perhaps we're not doing enough of. And then this will also heighten our vibrations and allow us to take our own power back on some level there, but also not forgetting to send that unconditional love out globally as well, in order for that healing to help those people that are maybe sat on the fence in terms of what sort of choice they want to be coming from, maybe the love or the fear vibration there, and they can't quite make their mind up what feels right and in alignment. This could be down to the fact that it could be propaganda, it could be cultural differences, but nevertheless, it's nice to know that we are encouraged to send that unconditional love and healing to all of those souls as we make this transition as a collective on this planet there. So very, very interesting changes coming in there. And also noticing the symptoms with this ascension that it does bring. So maybe feeling lightheaded, feeling dizzy, having ringing in the ears, feeling sick or nauseous on some level there. Also noticing that you're spending more time alone to process these new vibrations, these energies, these changes there, but not forgetting to allow yourself to rest when you feel that encouraging nudge from the universe to take time out in order to recalibrate, refocus, re-energize, and connect with the new timeline, the new vibrations that are coming in for us all there. So to summarize, that was an incredible channeling from Spirit, very to the point, full of wisdom, and I'm sure we can all take a lot from that. So we're going to move on to the next segment of this show, which is this week's energy forecast reading, which will hopefully help you navigate your way through the twists and turns of this week ahead. So sit back, relax, grab a pen and paper if you feel inspired to do so, to take notes to help you through the course of this week ahead, as we're now going to listen to this week's energy forecast reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday the 9th of September 2024. Now, those of you that watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers and also consult the wisdom of the angel tarot cards. So what I'm about to do is just shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out for this week's forecast reading. Okay, so here's your card for this week's forecast reading. I'm now going to link into the vibration of that. First of all, what I'm being told by my guides is that this week is going to be a very transformational week for you, because you will be faced with some very important life-changing decisions that you'll have to make. And these feel like very positive changes. However, you will be on the cusp where you're going to have to make an important decision that aligns with your heart vibration this week. There will be that wrestling match between your mind and your heart. Nevertheless, you are being encouraged to feel the wisdom permeating through your heart and trust that everything will work out beautifully for you. I also feel that within this week, there's going to be some changes with your own physicality and your energy levels, because I am feeling that there will be peaks and troughs in terms of your energy levels. And usually when you feel those dips in your energy, you stay strong and you keep on going, marching forward. However, this week you are being encouraged to take rest when you feel those dips in your energy, because otherwise you're going to face a burnout where you won't be able to do hardly anything, because you won't have that balance within your energy field there. So like I say, have an inclination to strike while the iron is hot, but also have that knowledge and wisdom to kick back and rest when your body is requiring you to do so. This week also sees you being encouraged to be more playful. You've been taking life rather seriously over these last few weeks, and it's now time for you to have some fun, to relax a little bit, to let the inner child come forward, to go on adventures, to be playful, to be silly with people in interactions, having a bit more fun. With you being like this, it's going to also give other people around you that permission for them to do the same, to have more fun, to relax, to be silly. And in doing so, you're going to heighten not only your vibrations, but the vibrations of those around you, and also inspire them in doing the very same. This week we'll also see you actually focusing in on your priorities. What I mean by this, I feel as though you have been distracted over, again, the last couple of weeks. However, this week we'll see you actually deciphering what feels right to you, what brings you pleasure, what brings you joy, your priorities. Instead of doing things out of obligation, things that you've always had to do because that's just what you have to do. This week we'll see you readdressing the way that you unfold in your life, and actually give yourself that permission again to be more playful, to have more fun. Stop beating yourself down, and also give yourself that confidence back. Because I do feel as though those of you that are watching this have had your confidence knocked over the last, I want to say, 2 to 3 months. And it has been a gradual unfolding and I would say building process of you regaining your confidence, allowing yourself to speak your truth, to have the fun. And so I feel that also this week we'll see you embracing your truth and bringing your confidence to the level there. So let's turn over the card for you. Okay, so at the top of the card it says 7 of Air. So I'd like you to research the angel number of number 7, as I feel that is very prominent for you and will give you some additional content and guidance. Also, number 7 to me, it indicates 2 things really. It indicates good fortune, good luck, but also it requires you to let certain elements out of your life go in order for you to create that space to receive that good luck and good fortune. So watch out for yourself actually prioritizing this week. Again, allowing yourself to have fun. Okay. The next thing it says of air. Air to me, I'm hearing the old Phil Collins song. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. This is telling you to trust your vibrations, feeling to a situation rather than overthinking and analyzing it, and trust that it's on its way. Also, it represents the thinning of the veil of the ether between this physical dimension and the world of spirit and the world of energy there. So it sees you becoming more sensitive, more attuned to not only thought vibrations, but emotional vibrations. So watch out when you're picking up on this as well. Let's read the bottom of the card as it says awareness, caution, and consequences. The awareness is talking about the degree of sensitivity we've just been mentioning there, and you being aware of the feelings, the emotions. You feel that there's change on its way to you. Caution is telling you to look before you leap, but feel your way into it using your heart chakra there. And obviously consequences is referring to you actually being mindful when you make this positive life choice that there will be consequences, not only for yourself, but for those around you. So feel into the choice. Like we said earlier, you've got choices to be made. Feel into that choice and trust what you're picking up rather than letting your mind govern your pathway forward. In the artwork of the card, we've got the color of blue around the edge. So that indicates high emotions this week. Emotions being triggered, coming to the surface, but also it's telling you not to bottle those emotions up. There's a need for you to actually speak up. So it's talking about communication, communicating how you feel to others and being honest about it. It's only then when these substantial changes and choices that you will have to make in your life will come to the surface, and there'll be a vast degree of relief once you've spoken up about them. Inspecting the artwork in the center of the card, we've got, as we can see, this beautiful feminine energy there, and she's on a bench there and she's resting. So that would indicate your sensitivity. It's talking about that childlike sense of humor, the get up and go. It's also talking about, as you can see, there's a sword in front of her. She's been fighting many battles, And like we've been saying earlier, instead of pushing and pushing and pushing ahead, when you do feel that time for change and rest, you need to listen to your body and accept that rest is needed there. Also behind that, well, the bench would indicate rest, obviously, as well. But also it's talking about setting a line in the sand, a benchmark, what you will and what you won't accept anymore. Behind that, there's a young child, a male child there that's looking over her. This is talking about your counterpart, your heaven-sent counterpart watching over you. I feel as though this counterpart is on the earth plane, and it feels like somebody that's connected to you on a soul level, that keeps an eye on you, checks in on you to see if you're okay. But also it's talking about the masculine side of you to actually just be aware of that need to push forward and maybe reel it in a little bit, relax a little bit into it. There's also an angelic being there in the background that's overseeing this scenario. So that would indicate that it is heaven sent. These changes that are coming into your life are heaven sent, and you have to feel your way through them and know that you're not on your own. You're being encouraged, you're being guided. Resting will also help you connect with your higher self and your spirit team there in order to feel inspirational content and guidance, which will help you through your week of this week, these twists and changes. At the back there, you can see a brick wall. That would indicate that there's no going back now. The past is in the past, and you need to leave it there because that's not where you're destined to go. You're moving in towards better, brighter things. So trust the process, feel your way into it, and follow your heart. So that's what I picked up for this week's energy forecast reading. Thank you for hearting, liking, commenting and sharing. If you've enjoyed this reading and you would like to help and support the work that I do, I have got a buy me a coffee link either above or below this reading, which is a virtual tip jar. So all of your generous donations will be gratefully appreciated and used in accordance with the spiritual work that I do in order to help people raise their awareness and consciousness on their timeline. Also, if you would like to book in with me for a private reading, head over to my website, www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or find me and book in with me on Facebook, Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium page. Join me every Monday, 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on www.pulsetalkradio.com with my radio show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, talking about all things spiritual, paranormal and self-help. Have a fantastic week, everybody. Bye for now.
Well, it sounds like we're all in for a very interesting week ahead. Lots of transformational changes coming in. And I think change is the prominent word, isn't it? And not being afraid of change and feeling our way through it as opposed to trying to work things out. So I hope that helps you in some way, shape or form for this week ahead. Anyway, thank you for tuning in once more. I hope you've enjoyed the content and the information that has either been inspired or directly channeled from Spirit in this week's episode. The intention, as always, is to help and guide as many people as physically and spiritually and energetically possible during the course of this show. So I hope we've achieved that, my guides and myself, by doing this. Can I invite you all, if you have any questions you would like to ask the show or anything you would like us to talk about on the show, please do get in touch by contacting me at www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can email me at glennboddice@live.co.uk. As ever, it will be fantastic to hear from you and to interact with you, and to hear your feedback regarding the show would be greatly appreciated. So whatever it is you're going to be doing this week, as the forecast suggested there, make sure that you're taking time for you. Make sure that you're getting your energy levels balanced. So when you are feeling that desire to rest up the physical body, the mental body there, the emotional body, then give yourself permission to do that. Take some time out and well-deserved rest when you're feeling that inclination, instead of charging and pushing forward ahead and just depleting your energy so that you do feel out of balance and unaligned. So make sure you're taking time back for you. Anyway, you can join me at the same place, which is pulsetalkradio.com at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time every Monday, with this very show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, talking about all things spiritual, paranormal and self-help. So have a tremendous week, everybody, and I'll look forward to your company next week. Take care now and God bless. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to From Beyond.
For more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to glennboddice spiritualmedium.com.